Again, super excited to have Leona. Leona is, as I mentioned, the head of learning design for RMIT's College of Business and Law. And Leona's was one of the very first participants in the Kaospilot cohort back in 2018. And when we first connected, one of the things that I just always admired about Leona is just the way that she infused creativity and innovation and new ways of thinking into the way that she designed, whether that was at Monash when I first met her. She was also doing that at RMIT Activator, and then now coming back to RMIT at the college. Where what I think now, what's fascinating to see, and I'm looking forward to hearing her story, is how she's been able to take the Kaospilot work and methods, not just to integrate that into her practice, but then now creating more systemic change and really spreading some of these principles and ways of thinking across the college and across her team. So a few of folks from her team are actually on the call today, so hoping to learn from them as well. All right, I'll pass it over to Leona. Thanks.
Thank you, Ramon, and thank you, Zoe, for this opportunity. This is great to give back to the community. I am going to now share my screen. I've ticked all the sound options. Excellent, yes. So can everyone see that? Cool. So yes, as Ramon said, I'm going to give you a little snippet and insight into my journey. There are quite a few people actually in the audience from various stages of my journey with Kaospilot, which I will try and give a shout out as I go through. See, next. So I'm going to start with my own personal quest. So I kind of started in this journey back in, when I was much younger in 2018. And I was looking for a way of making impactful learning design, that I could adapt and scale. And that really, it started with that first spark from that masterclass, and that's evolved over the years to be fully immersed, which will be the Activator way. And I took that immersion then into another company that did employability programs as well. And then the final evolution at where I'm currently, which is the learning design manager at the College of Business and Law at RMIT. So I'm hoping there's something in each one of these stages that you might, either you're at these stages or you're at the beginning, but there's something that you can take away. So from that first spark, which I didn't even realize was going to be a spark until I did the 3-day intensive, and I must say it was intensive. It was very tiring to become the learner all over again, but it was the best investment in myself I think I've ever made. I will just say that much. And not only because it was a wonderful experience and Ramon is lovely, but I have long-lasting friendships and connections with like-minded, amazing individuals from that experience. And I got to learn from other challenges and others' ways of thinking. And of course, I got to find some tools. So my next challenge was, I had this awesome experience. How do I take what I've learned from this and apply it immediately? So as Ramon mentioned, I was working in Monash. I was working in the College of Engineering at that point. There were other awesome individuals in my team who also did the Chaos experience. And that did help when we were kind of consolidating what we would learn. And we each had different tools that kind of worked for us. As you can see, I thought the 5 C's, which have now extended to 7 C's, but I still stick with 5, were great as a framing conversation around context, change, capacity, and commitment. And that was great to sort of almost to help academics get into the process and help them start thinking the KP way. And then obviously being engineering, they love designing things and they loved the learning arches. That was one of the things that just took off. So there was something about measuring their courses and aligning them over a grid that just set the little engineering hearts on fire. But there are some other things, just some simple practices around to how does a team do we run things? How does a team do we maybe run workshops and professional development sessions? Framing them with I do art, even if there's not anything explicitly in that session around KP. And then there were some really cool concepts I think we all tried to play with and trial around the set, hold, land, which is a learning arch methodology around you're setting the learning arch, you're holding at the space in between, and you're landing at the end. That language also helps us with academics to kind of make their connections, because often in the university sector, academics are highly specialist in their areas. They think very topically. To help them to start make connections between their topics and their assessments and what the students need and how that needs to be landed was really helpful. And then some other things around increasing complexity while decreasing instruction. Another thing is, how do you get them to hand over maybe some of the reins to the students? And the hidden curriculum, the kind of the red thread that runs underneath. So some things are explicit and how they can play with things less explicit. So the other side of that was obviously, yes, that's great to have conversations with tools and help them design their courses, but how do you sort of influence their practice? So this is where literally we lifted and shifted specific activities. The Lego Challenge, not only in Monash, but through every career change I've had, has been the number one thing that I have picked up and adapted 6 ways. The yo-yos was a beautiful activity that actually we did with some academics who took that. It was so impactful. It took it back to their childhood. So I think there's things, maybe experiences, that if you've done the first and even the second, that is there something in there that you could bring to your colleagues or your academics or even your students to give them that same experience.